I am straight up recording this in between the last episode you've probably seen and the next episode, because I've been thinking I just need to redo my fleet. As you can see, I have like the Ranger. This is just called Theft because I stole it off someone else. I think it was Yield on Discord. They made it. I'm looking at trying to do it myself. It's like 70k. But I'm looking at building my own ships and I'm making them look good. So, this is what I'm currently using, as you saw. I haven't got the main assault ship up because that's still a work in progress. But obviously I have the Ranger, the Bombercraft, this just called Theft, Fighter, the Iron Harvester, which I love the design of, but I think I need to make my own style. I've got the frigates, this is the original Lapsus, got the carrier back here, obviously the mothership, and I need to figure out how to make a cohesive whole. So I'm going to spend this episode and the next several hours building a fleet which actually looks like it's meant to be bloody together. And the first thing to do is something with the fighter, because the fighter is borrowed off somebody else. It looks nice. It's only what, 50, 60k? But I need to figure out how to make this my fighter. So give me a second while I have a look at it and have a deep think. The biggest thing I've been trying to do is figure out how to make these ships look unique and different enough that I personally quite like them. And that's a big problem, because I'm not a big fan of my own building style, if I'm honest. Like, I'm not a big fan of my own building style at all. And it's a big problem. It's a big problem. Like, I like the original design of all this, but I want to make it look like something I personally have done. I need to make it in thematic. Like, this fighter looks nothing like this frigate. This stolen harvester, I'm actually going to start redesigning, because obviously I stole these. But I'm doing jazz hands, you can't see. But yeah, we have stuff like this, the Ranger, which I've been building. It's okay. It looks like a squash bug. And obviously I got the design from this thing which Yield made. And I'm going to be working on this too to make it look more like mine. It's only like 70, 80k, dirt cheap. Then we have obviously the Bombercraft, which are quite really huge and bulky, like a third of the size of a frigate. And we have the Lapsus, which is meant to be a siege assault barge. So, I need to work on what I want and how to do it. I need to have in thematic styles. This, I think I'm just going to turn straight up into a laser assault barge. Just sod it. Going to cut it down the middle, laser assault barge, be done with it. And the first thing I obviously need is to make this actually work properly. And, yeah, looking at it, we obviously only have one reactor in this thing right now. One reactor at the back, that could be all I really need. It's hard to really say. But obviously I like kind of like the style going on with it. But I'm thinking this style should be more beam-based. The frigates are not as useful as they should be. But I don't want to go pure beam. Because pure beam is a cop-out. Pure beams are quite powerful. Like the same as I don't use railguns. Because rail fans are quite powerful. So I don't really know exactly how to make this look really good. And make it also thematically useful. And also not stupidly overpowered. And stupidly overpowered is roughly where we currently go with this, because obviously it is going to be stupidly overpowered. And that's a big problem, because it shouldn't be. But it will be. Yeah, like I say, it shouldn't be, but it bloody will. So I don't know. Because that obviously comes down to all sorts of weird issues. I'm also doing a few cuts here. A few weird issues indeed. I don't know. I do not know. But I want it to be thematically awesome. And that's a big one currently. Thematically awesome is just not a thing I can currently do. Because obviously these ships start to get quite expensive crew-wise. I don't do it on the amount of resources it costs, because people do money-based, although I am trying. But I do it on the amount of crew needed. And that's obviously quite a lot. It's an awful lot, to be honest. So we'll see how that goes. And I don't know. I mean, I could make weird ships, but again, too many beams make it meh. Too many beams do make it meh. That's a big issue. Oh my god, I've done this, and the star just does not fit things. Look, I mean, the fighter stars look a little bit better, I guess, but I don't know. Getting a cohesive whole is really not that bloody good. I can do the paint style pretty easily, but yeah, the Bombercraft, it's alright, I guess. It's just too big. The Ranger craft, I've been trying to make it cheaper. And it is. It's like 20k cheaper than this, even though they're literally the same build. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of how it looks. It looks like a squish bug. It's too thin. But I can't make it any thinner without, losing the internals. So I don't know. Maybe digging this piece out? If I do, the problem is with that is the front cannon is a 3x2. So whatever I do, I still need to make it look 3x2-ish. So that's another issue. Like, how do I do that? I guess. Like, if I just start tearing this apart, I pull that to there, that to here. I don't know. Put you over here for a second. Get rid of that. Have this here. Bring you down to here. But this isn't needed. This doesn't need this. This can be at the back. Like that. But maybe the cockpit needs to be there. There's just so many things I'm not sure how to design a ship with. It's just so difficult. I could do that to there, let's say. I don't know. I do not know. Because I shrink it all, then the back thrusters don't look right. It's just a problem. It's a big problem. And I just don't know how to solve it. How do you solve a problem like Maria? And see, I've shrunk it down a lot more now. An awful lot more. But now it looks really bad. And it only has a 6-man crew. It needs an 8-man crew. Ah. And the issue I got there is wherever I put something, it's going to cause issues somewhere else. And that's a big one. Because I don't really want issues somewhere else. If I do this, this is... issues. Just building a nice ship is issues. Because now I have nowhere to put a reactor. Like, the reactor's not important for the front, just a couple of thrusters. For the back it really is, but I've put this forward. Like, I suppose I don't need that. But now, I need space for either 3 more of these little guys, which is not possible. Or, I need to mysteriously find a bit more space. Or I can shrink this down. But then I would have the space for the cannons. Like, it takes a lot of ammo to fire these things. If I remove that, it just becomes... It just becomes a basic ship. I don't know. Like that. Like, it just doesn't look right now. Like, that gets there, that's yellow. Those two can't even be touched anymore. See, that's a problem. See, that gets done easy. That's green, that's green, that's green. That's yellow. That's green. These... Like that. And like that. Okay, is that better? But now it's flying sideways in my eyes. Like, there we go. That's now the brand new Ranger. Smaller, sleeker. But it doesn't look right. It still looks too thin. I can't shrink it anymore because it will really look dumb. Like, what do you think? Is it good? Is it thematic? I don't know. That's the problem. Trying to get all these designs correct, I just don't fully know. Removing the extra thrusters from the fighter makes it cheaper and a smaller profile, but it makes it so much slower. It's 36 with that one right now. 36. How fast is the Ranger Mark 4? I guess it's a Mark 5 now. The Ranger is probably too fast at 70. So if I move this, how fast are you? How fast are you without it? You are a 50 without it, give or take? You're 48 without it. That's the problem. To make them cheaper, I have to remove good parts. Like, the fighter requires those 2 extra things, otherwise it just isn't fast enough. Or I extend it 1 more sideways and have another 1 thruster at the back. Maybe that'll work. Maybe 1 more thruster at the back. Let's give that a try. Okay, looking like this, it now has a speed of... It's still slower than the... Still slower than the Ranger. It's still slower than the Ranger, but I put a standard thruster in here. It starts becoming to the point where... Actually, I should have this bit here, shouldn't I? That bit there is better than get rid of that. Okay, let's have to go through there to do that bit. That's no longer needed. Let's move you to there. Have you move over to there. Have that over to there. How's that look? Better? There we go. So now it has a fighter speed of 76, and it's looking a bit more thematically like my ship and not stolen. So I guess we have the fighter almost complete. We have the Ranger complete. We have to work on the paint jobs, I guess, which looks stupid. And everything I'm doing I have to translate into the game too. Cool. Cool. Oh my god. Right, it's got a better profile, I guess, now. I kind of like how it sort of almost looks menacing as it cuts through the space. That's kind of cool, I guess, but let's work on the paint, I guess. Oh my god, I think I've made it look worse. I mean, it's definitely... I've made the bat symbol, haven't I? I've literally just made the bat symbol. Like, do these thematically both look like they're in the same universe? I guess so? But I've literally made the bloody bat symbol. I mean, it kind of fits with the Ranger. It kind of fits with the... How much is a Mark III? So I think that's what I want for the ships, the Mark III, which is 61k. It's only like 2k more. I have to admit, they do look kind of cool. So they're no longer the original ship I borrowed. Obviously, there's still similarities, but I've moved everything around, and I've made it more my own. So now I have these things. Yeah. I mean, I guess they're okay. Let's actually have a... Okay, let's have you three... do attack. Okay, let's have you three... AI normal, Allegiance, Barbarian, AI normal, attack. Like, to be fair, they're still meant to be easy to kill ships, but a theft might be useful. Just have to design it so it looks good. For me, it looks good already, it's what it is. The fighters are actually really quite nimble. The fighters are really quite nimble. Look at them go. Obviously they're a little bit wider now. But yeah, I kind of like it. They're extremely nimble. How are they doing internally? So obviously this is still a 4-man crew. 4 men are actually better for it, but obviously I use 3 because I don't really care if these things live or die. They definitely really make the older ones look different. Okay, fine. Let's say the fighters are complete. Let's see what we can do with the bombercraft, I guess. The Ranger, I still don't know what to do with the bloody Ranger. It still doesn't look right. Okay, current Ranger, with just a little extra small thruster there, hits a top-heavy speed of over 50. That's kind of what I need for my small craft. Anything over 50 is good. I'm looking like 30, 40 for my average stuff. So, obviously, these are... What were these? These were 60, 65, 70? Okay, the fighters are 70. They are interceptor assault craft. So, obviously, they are meant to be over 70. I'm kind of happy this being 56, I guess. Do I make that one a big one again? I'm really running out of space to make this look nice, aren't I? I guess we go with it. What's this? How much does this even cost now? Cost, like I say, I'm trying to make the costs okay. And that's another big thing. Right now, it's about how much I can make and also how much crew I've got. So let's just quickly build a few over here and see what they look like. So let's see. This would be 61k, which is up by 2k. And obviously the Ranger Mark IV is 76, and now it's 72. So it's actually gone down a fair bit. But I guess it looks okay. Compared to the previous version, it's obviously a lot less fatter in the shoulders. So I guess go with it? Question mark? Let's put the colour scheme on it. It's very hard to change someone else's design to make it look like something I personally would like. This, I do not like the look of. At all. Which is a shame. It does not fit in with my style, but I'm going to give it a try. Because obviously I'm messing around with it. It's not really my design. Again, I don't want to have too many beams in my fleet. But, you know, this is, for those who are wondering, if you just get rid of some of the edge pieces. In fact, you just completely get rid of the edge pieces. This style here is a very quick and simple, real cheap ion prism Corvette or whatever, Iron Prism Fighter, whatever you want to talk about it. So So you want to do this, it's obviously you can just get rid of the frontal things. It won't stand up to any long-term assault, but a couple of these being, supporting a bigger ship which is being targeted, you can do a lot of damage because the beam can hit from any side. So if you want to do something, this is someone else's design. This is Yealt's design, Y-E-A-L-T. Like I said, I saw them build it. I decided to make a copy of my own. I don't like what I'm doing with it, but if you want to try your own kind of thing, this is a very simple standard ion prism. I guess mini frigate, corvette, fighter, whatever you call it. But Yealt, Y-E-A-L-T. Oh, I hate my own style. Another problem I have is I have multiple different frigate designs, as you can see. This one's like a 4 shield. This one is 4 cannons. This is a beam disruptor. And I don't know what to do, because obviously the more shields I have, the longer they last. This one has missiles in the rig, so it's the original design of Elapsus. But 4 shields is kind of what I want for these ships to be able to support each other. But to get 4 ships and 4 weapons on the field, 4 shields and 4 weapons on the field, I have to do some things. Because you see here, I have 4 command points on this. I could easily put a shield gen, but they're 3 command points each. Which means I'd have to remove some other importantly useful things. Now I could just straight up get rid of the thrusters. But thrusters in the grand scheme don't save me much, as you can see, they're 4 each. If I put standard thrusters in, it's going to be even worse. So I don't know where I'm going with that. I also don't know how much I've been recording. But if I do this, let's say, I have enough for 2 more shields, but then I don't have enough for everything else. I've stopped moving it all around. And that starts becoming more of an issue. So let me see if I can turn this into something which is a combination of that one and this one, I guess. Now maybe this design is better. Obviously we have 4 shield gens around it. But obviously the crew has a bit of an issue with where they're going. I've not got enough crew. I think I need another 2 in it to make it good. But in the grand scheme of things, is this a good ship? It's sort of 2 big thrusters at the front, because the 2 big thrusters at the front are kind of needed. Because otherwise what happens is it rams the enemy, as you may or may not have noticed. But now, with a load of small thrusters, they're even fast. Which is another big issue. Is it even fast? Because we've removed, obviously, 2 big thrusters. And see, it started to slow down at 35. It means it's no longer combat chaseable. And that's an issue. If it's no longer combat chaseable, that's a big, big issue. So maybe we'll put 2 large thrusters here? Like, maybe that helps? It's hard to say. Okay, now we're hitting the heady heights of 40. That's better. 40 is better. So yeah, this is looking like a better design. Ish. A better design. Ish. But you have to check, see where everything goes. Like, see this? This requires crew from there. That's a bit of a walk. This requires crew from there again. Bit of a walk, but the ammo's good. These are all good with the green. This is okay with green back here. Ish. But again, we have another issue of from here. Like this has that's green, that's yellow, because I have to walk through things. Now I could kind of try and move it back a couple, but then it gets in the way of this area. It starts getting difficult to figure out where things could be. I'm not the best designer of internals, and this, it pains my heart, bluntly. It does pain my heart. Maybe this is better, moving it back so this has more space. They're still yellow, but it works a bit better. They are still yellow. But now they can walk fast. Obviously before they had to go through this, which slows them down by 50%. So now they are moving faster. But I still have an issue if I need to find some more places for crew. Which, again, raises the price. I could put them into here, but then that covers up this area. Oh, it's just problem after problem after problem. Problem solving is not my best skill. If I could go there, and I move you to there, and I move you to there. How's that make things go? Now you're really far away. Were you better beforehand? I don't know. I put you here. You were 8. I put you here. Oops. I put you here. You are 10. It's... That's a problem. That's 9 now, I guess. It's a bit better. It's 50-50 at the best of times, so maybe that's better. This design is looking a lot better. I'm testing it against one of my other designs, the previous version, and it's tearing through it. Obviously it's not doing the best because it's mainly cannons, but it is tearing through the target. I'm beginning to think, if I switch this out, and have this gone, this gone, this gone, and this gone, and instead of having them there, I go for disruptors. Now the trouble is, I only have enough for 3. So, maybe it'll be okay. Maybe. Let's give it a try. But yeah, as you can see, I'm constantly testing out ships. Constantly testing out ships. That's looking a lot better. Look at that. Shields are going down, doing consistent damage. Okay. So I think 2 cannons at the back and then a load of disruptors, which bring down shields faster. So that's a lot better. If only I could have another disruptor over here. But I think just having 2 would be good. I don't know. I just don't like just the idea of just 2. Although they're really effective. See that? That's now a super effective frigate. I don't quite like it still, because of how it's only, 3 and 3. But that is super effective. And what's the price cost of this thing? God, it's like a Mark 5 now, isn't it? Completely like a Mark 5. So, okay, let's have a deploy. A Mark 4 is 215. A Mark 5 is 223. It's gone up by another 10k almost. Oh, what a waste of my life. Oh my god, will you stop doing that? I have finally come up with a design for the frigates. So it is now 4 disruptors backed by 2 smaller lasers. I've also shrunk down the size by a little bit by moving the entire back area forwards. It might look a little bit odd, but I think this frigate is now more worthwhile when testing it against the destroyer design, which, as you can see, did not survive. So I'm liking this. Obviously, the crew is still a bit of an issue. We are down to 24, suggested 30, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we now have this, which will be a support frigate. We're still having a few issues here and there with certain things, so I literally moved it all forwards. But I think it could be good to go. The original design wasn't too much of a difference, but I actually just quickly bring it down. It looked like this, and as you can see, it's just slightly bigger, which means the crew could just get through here and just deliver that way, which made it a lot easier for power. So I might just leave it. So as you can see, they go through here and come out the back, so it's actually a lot faster and easier to load this one. So I think we might not shrink it down to the frigate and leave it this size. So it's still going to be slightly big with a lot of extra space inside it. Let's go with that. So yeah, the frigate Mark 5, that's complete. Cool. Now we have some ships. My entire fleet of built ships is now over here. What have we got? We have a fighter, we have a ranger, and we have a frigate. Cool. That is so many builds out of everything I've made. So bloody many. Is that the current ranger design? Because I would have had a different colour scheme for that. It doesn't look right. Oh, whatever. It's done. Done.